What is going on, soccer card fiends? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we are here with the June PSA soccer card breakdown, where essentially I run through most all the notable stars from the 1950s to now and how their populations are changing from the PSA pop report. Fun thing I do every month to kind of just stay in touch with the market, see what's changing, see what's plentiful, see what's not, and share it with you guys as well, because I feel like it can help a ton of people. So if you get any use out of this, feel free to leave a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it greatly. Helps the channel grow, helps this information reach more people, which, if you're selfish, might be a bad thing, but if you're a given person, it could be good. So let's go ahead and get on over to it now. So we have the player rookie breakdowns and the monthly changes, as you can see. So here I'll go through not all of the rookie cards for every player. If a player has a reasonable amount of rookies, I will, but for someone like Pele, it's just pretty ridiculous, especially when I am not dealing in the Pele market. But we have the player rookie breakdown, we have the monthly percent change up there, and then we have the total percent change on the far right. So that is how we're going to do it. Keep in mind the percent changes aren't perfect because, if a card has a low population then gets a +1 to it, that could be a high percent change, when in reality it isn't that big of a difference. So up top we have Pele, the 1958 Pele. It's just a few that I keep an eye on to give me a general idea of how the market's doing. And as you can see, essentially a 1 to 2% increase on most of these. The Titulares 86 did not get any increase because, as we can see in this segment of Pele rookies, it is the most rare, so that makes sense. And then the record didn't get any more in a high or medium grade, and got a +1 in the lower grade. So overall, Pele not really coming to the market that much, but I guess it's to be expected. After that, we have Eusebio. Eusebio is one where he has a ton of just really rare rookies, but I feel obligated to put them on there because, they're Eusebio rookies, so why wouldn't I? The one that did have a decent increase, as you can see here, is the Swedish record with the +2 to the med-range grades. Overall, nothing too crazy though. Some more Calciatores come into the market, saw a lot of them auctioned recently on PWCC, so that also makes sense. Going on down, we have Franz Beckenbauer here, where the only increase was to his rookies. There was an 8 through 10 that was graded, so there is a +1 to some of the highest grades of the Beckenbauer, while we also have a +1 to the PSA 2 through 4, so nothing too big going on there. No other rookies graded, just the Bergman first year and second year is the only thing we saw from him. Then we have Jared Muller here. For his changes, essentially the only, high notable one was there was a Secret Verlag that was perforated that was added to the population. This was prior a Pop 1, now it's a Pop 2. But yeah, really nothing too crazy going on here. A decent increase in the second year Bergmans, but what are you going to do about that? That's going to happen naturally over time. One of the things I will say, I didn't watch the video yet, but I know that Al, aka El Rey, he had like a massive vintage return. So if we see some numbers here, I just kind of assume it's him. I don't really know, but that's just where my mind goes. So we got Bobby Moore here. A nice little increase to his Verlogs. I previously had this listed as a 1961 Verlog because that's what PSA had it as. Now it's a 1962. Just know that I make some mistakes, so does PSA, so don't take everything you see as gospel. If you really, truly want to make sure, please check out the PSA Pop Report, because sometimes I mess up. There was an instance or two in the last month where I was off 1 or 2 in the population because I added wrong, or PSA's taken off certain numbers. I never know. But basically, nothing too crazy with Bobby Moore there, other than the 2 Verlogs in low grade. Down to Cruyff, I thought this was pretty interesting. Barely any Cruyffs being graded. When you look, basically the Vanderhoot in a PSA 2 through 4 was graded pretty significantly. I think that's like a +6 to the overall grades. So yeah, decent little increase there, but none of the high grades that we've been seeing a lot of lately, so that was good. I always put like the second year just to see how they grow over time, because I want to see once the second year sort of reaches the first year, and then I can see that we're more flushed through the populations and all that jazz. But yeah, still grading a lot of second year, so it is what it is. Platini, this was, I guess, another sticker that's sort of up in the air. There's currently like discussion between the Vanderhout and the Platini rookie that they might be able to be removed from albums without any damage, because we've been seeing a lot of high pops lately. This month, there were 2 in the PSA 5 through 7 range that were graded. So again, you know, a little nervy there, but none in the 8 through 10. And then beyond that, we had a third year Platini that got graded a good bit too. But other than that, nothing too crazy for the Platini market. The Maradona one I thought was pretty intriguing. Just generally speaking, because the disc didn't have any graded and the Estampas also did not have any graded. I know Andre's been talking about the Estampas a lot lately, and as we can see, both the disc and the Estampas have had nothing this last month. The 1978 headshot did get graded a pretty good bit in PSA 2 through 4. I don't know why it's mislabeled over there, but I'll change it. With a plus 9% overall and a plus 6% overall to the cartoon. The only ones being graded were the PSA 2 through 4 range, so maybe stickers that got removed, but really nothing all too beautiful coming in through there. But still, great cards. I mean, Maradona, when you look at these pops, I mean, compared to anyone else, Maradona pops are really low, like really low. I mean, one of the things that surprised me about the Maradona market is when you look at this, the Calciatori's, I mean, it's well known, but they're very common. They're like, I think they're the most graded vintage card / sticker. And, you know, there's 300 graded in this range that we have right here. And when you go look, like PSA 5s, they sell for good prices. Like, I think like $1,000 plus or minus some. And you can get, I mean, they're like PSA 1s, PSA 2s, but you can get PSA 1s, PSA 2s of the rookies for about the same price. And personally, I'd much rather have the rookies every single day of the week rather than the Calciatori's, because if you buy in on Calciatori PSA 5, you're probably buying like the 150th to 200th best grade or best card of Calciatori for Maradona. If you wanted to buy the 200th best Maradona rookie, I mean, you know, you'd buy the worst grade essentially of whatever one you wanted, and you'd get it for much cheaper. So just throwing it out there, I think it makes sense, but that's kind of one of the fun things you get from looking at the pops. You just see all the numbers, and you can see how crazy that Calciatori number is, because it is a wild. Beyond that, we have Hugo Sanchez right here. Decent increase to his pops, plus 8% and plus 12%. But again, there's barely any graded, so how do you take that? It's kind of hard to tell. Will there be more? Is this just a few coming through, and now the pop looks, you know, like it's boosted a good percent? That's kind of one of the things you have to follow over time. Once we hit like 6 months, 12-month marks for these videos, I will make like how much they moved in 6 to 12 months to give it a better, you know, idea of how they're moving long term. So keep an eye out for that. We have the Hullet Votball that had a increase here of a +1 to the med range, so getting to 12 overall in the population for, you know, decent grades. Matthias, I did add his true rookie. It was just so low pop, I didn't really feel like adding it originally, but I was like, whatever, I gotta add the man's rookie. Yeah, there's only one of them, so not really too much you can do with that. I think there's definitely some ones, but only one that's unstuck, at least graded. Beyond that, though, he did have a decent little increase in his foosball and the foil as well, so something to note. Mark van Basten did not have any increase at all. A really rare pre-modern rookie for those that are in the know. Maldini, so this is one of the problems that I had. I looked back at the PSA 5 through 6 population. I added it together right now and it gives me 20. But I look back and I can scroll. I don't really want to scroll, but I can scroll back. See back there, it was 23. And then if I go back again, it was 22. And then if I go back again, it was 20. So I feel like it's hard for me to believe that, you know, there was none added for 3 months and I just kept adding numbers wrong. I don't know what happened, but there's less of them. So the total percent change is kind of weird. But yeah, there were some PSA 7 through 8s graded, so keep that in mind. I believe, yeah, +2 to the population. So something to note there. No Calciatori flashes coming on in. Those are very rare for those that know, so it makes sense to me. Baggio, we have a little increase to the Calciatori flash, a +1 in the 5 through 6 range. Overall, not that bad. Eric Cantona with a +1 in the 5 through 7 range. We have Bergkamp with none being added. We have Zidane with a pretty decent prop increase. None in the 8 through 10 range, so nothing too crazy, but the 5 through 7s, they did get a +2, while the 2 through 4s did get a +2 as well. So 4 Zidanes coming on in decent grade. We then have Rivaldo, who had a nice little increase in his PSA 5 through 7 and 2 through 4 pop. As you can see, a 16% change in the total population there. Anyway, we have Roberto Carlos, again, a pretty decent increase. So, keep note, 18%, 16%. Again, they're not high pops, but they are increasing, and it's pretty consistent across the board for Brazilians. So just keep an eye out. With the True Ronaldo, aka R9, we have a decent percent increase, nothing too crazy. I mean, mostly in med grades in the 3 through 8 range, none in high grade coming on through, and overall anywhere between a couple percent and maybe 6% with the Deportivo. And then for David Beckham, we can see a 6% increase to the Merlins graded, mostly in med to high grade, none in PSA 9/10, and then with the LCD publishing, there was more med grades as well. So David Beckham still flowing on into the market. Don't overspend there. Buffon's 5% increase to overall grades. Still, pretty hefty. Mostly in, again, med to high grades, none in 9 or 10. So you can sort of rely on the condition rarity in 9s and 10s if you'd like. Pirlo, small percent change to his Panini Calciatore, and his actual true rookies had no change, so it seemed to be pretty rare, I would say, there, considering you only have 20 compared to the Calciatore where you have about 60, so keep note of that. With the Henry, we can see a good percent change in his 2 through 7s of his Panini foot, a 9% change and a 6% change, so pretty decent there. I guess it makes sense. I mean, when the PSA 8/10 is the highest pop and the 5/7 and 2/4 is lower, over time those are going to come up, you would imagine, so that makes sense. With the Equipos Europas, essentially a nice little increase in the Russian version, a +2 to the population in med to high grade. I actually saw in a Discord who owns them, so it's always fun to be able to see like who ended up getting that stuff graded and just put a face to the numbers that I see. Beyond that, we have Eto, who had a small percent change in his med to high grades. Again, no PSA 9/10s, really rare on that card. Stevie G with the 4% change, mostly in PSA 5 through 6 grades. Frank Lampard with a 5% change to his Merlin Premier League sticker in PSA 7 through 8 grade. Then we have Xavi, who had a good percent increase to his overall pop. We have a 5% to his Monday Chromo, a 22% to his S-Day sticker, which makes sense. A good percent increase to his S-Day stickers, up 50%, so a nice little bump there. And then his Panini Liga and a PSA 9/10 did actually get it +1. So it was 1, now it's 2. Overall, Xavi market definitely getting some supply pumped back to the market as well. Casillas with, I guess, 100% increase in his S-Day sticker, went from 1 to 2, so big moves there. Ronaldinho with a very small percent change, only 4% change to his Campeonato Brasileiro in a low, I guess, med grade with the 5 through 6. Then we have the Zlatan up 4% with a +1 coming to his PSA 5/6 range along the same lines as Ronaldinho. Then we have CR7 with a small percent increase in his football sticker. A PSA 5 through 6 was graded, and with the Mega Cracks, there was actually a good amount graded, so more of that coming on in, which would lead you to believe that, maybe the sticker's harder to find. After looking back at the prior months and seeing what was graded more, it actually seems like the sticker was being graded more, so maybe you never know. Either way, not too much coming on in there for one of the best players of all time. For Iniesta, we have a decent percent increase to a lot of his, between the 5 through 10% range on most of his stuff, which makes sense because, honestly, the Monday Chromos are pretty plentiful, and the Superligas haven't been graded too much, so if they do get found in decent condition, they will be graded. So it makes sense that those are going up. Wayne Rooney with some coming on in as well. Really nothing too crazy, though. His Merlin Golds got graded a little bit, but there was only a +1 to his PSA 10 pop of the green back. He does actually have a second sticker that's green and black back that I'm going to have to add. We'll get some more info on that next month. And then on to Messi. I cut down a lot of the second year fat from Messi and just went with first year stuff. So looking at this, essentially what we can tell is that there was some pretty high increases in these two. So the top Liga Monday Chromo foil got a 4% bump with a couple being graded. The real Mega Cracks, the 71 bis, got a nice little bump as well with 3.5%. And then the green Campio actually had a good percent increase. But again, you're getting good percent increases typically on things that aren't graded too much. So it makes sense. I guess main thing to note, no PSA 10s graded this month. I don't know if I think that trend's continued for a while, right? Okay, there was one white one graded in a PSA 10 last month. Month before that, there was actually a few, but almost all of the PSA 10s that are coming on in here are from the team set. Barely any I ever find are coming through anything else. So take note of that. Even with PSA 9s, barely any 9s this month. So also another great thing to see. At least, I guess, if you're buying or have Messi cards. I do have Messi cards because I like Messi. So for me, I'm enjoying it. The only PSA 9s added were the Mega Cracks, the 71 bis, also the blue Campio, and the white Campio and Campione version. So really nothing too crazy there. Mostly PSA 8s at this point, which shows that we're really starting to get into the condition rarity era of Messi, which, to be fair, we were always going to be there because it's not like the cards are actually rare, but when you're getting this low of a bump in, top grades, eventually, people will recognize. 2004, Sergio Ramos. Decent little bump here. The Money Chromo actually with a 20% bump. Kind of crazy, but when you think about it, really not crazy at all. I mean, and this is what I always do. If you have two people from the same set and one's graded more than the other, realize that that's how high the other one get. So with Messi, we have 46 PSA 10s, 210 9s, and 265 8s, right? I mean, you could easily see that happen with Sergio Ramos. I have no reason to believe otherwise. I don't believe that Sergio Ramos was in an update version or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, those numbers are going to go up, and that just makes sense. So fun to track Sergio Ramos. Beyond that, Lewandowski, very low change, only a +1 to the PSA 9 of the action shot, the headshot. Still very rare, so fun to see there. And then I always throw these two in at the bottom, just Mbappe and Haaland. I think it's just fun to see the numbers, Let's just compare it to what we saw prior. So like with these guys, they're rookies and PSA 10/9 grade, they have 700 right there, few hundred right there, another few hundred, 500, and this is like not including all their numbered stuff and all that crazy stuff. And then with Haaland, you got 1500, 1500, 1300, 1500, like it's just relentless, man. It's just relentless. Modern is relentless. And keep in mind, this is Mbappe and Haaland, who basically got in before the boom. These were pre-boom numbers in terms of population, what's going on out here. I couldn't imagine, what the population is on a lot of new guys nowadays. And that's why I don't track it. I know people have asked, but I just don't feel comfortable with it. I'm probably not going to track much pre-war. I'm probably not going to track much ultra-modern. It's mostly going to be in the span of vintage through modern, but excluding the ultra modern segment. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to let me know any players you'd like me to add to this. I have definitely a few in mind. I want to throw in Neymar. I'd like to throw in Zico, Socrates, some others. Let me know. Preferably top 50 all-time players. I don't really want to go too far outside of that. I feel like that's the most relevant. But with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you want some more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. And with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.